Let's say she has $2 million. How much of that does she owe to you and the rest of the family of that $2 million?
She can get all but like $2,500 a piece.
How much?
$2,500.
When people do the most, I do the analysis. Let's go. What happens when you're the first in your family to make it out the struggle and the very people you grew up with start pulling at your success? I'm not talking about strangers, not even the industry, but your own flesh and blood. Right now, GloRilla is trending, not for a hit record, but because her sister has gone public and she's doing the absolute most. Interviews, live streams, all accusing GloRilla of not financially supporting the family. I don't want to share a spotlight on the sister because this is something much bigger. This conversation is about what it really costs to break generational poverty. It's about sibling rivalry, entitlement, and what happens when one person evolves and the others don't. Breaking a generational curse doesn't just affect your bank account, it changes your relationships as well. So today I want to talk about legacy. Memphis rapper GloRilla, born Gloria Woods, is trending right now because of family drama. Her sister, who calls herself Scarface, has been doing live streams and interviews and even speaking with TMZ, all while accusing GloRilla of not financially supporting the family. But instead of centering the chaos, I want to discuss what it actually looks like to break a curse of generational poverty, because that's what we're witnessing here. Not even a year ago, GloRilla was interviewed by Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay. She spoke about her upbringing. No silver spoon, no industry parents, no wealthy mentors. Just a young woman from Memphis, Tennessee, who decided she was going to change her outcome. And that single decision is where the generational curse began to crack.
Drive-thrus be talking crazy. That's why I say I never work another fast food job after them.
Right. Okay, so now you're starting to struggle. You got your car repossessed. You're sleeping on your friend's couch. And they about to get evicted or they got evicted. So now, what's the lowest point that you say, damn, I got to make something happen?
One of the most powerful parts of GloRilla's story is that she didn't really have a visible blueprint for success. And by that I mean there were no positive role models in the home.
It's so crazy. I was probably at my lowest right before I blew up. I always was, out of all my friends, I always had my own apartment. I always had my own car. And it was just like, I'm going to say 2021 was a bad year once, like after my birthday. And it was just like everything went downhill and shit. Whole time I'm still having faith. I'm like, okay. Like I have $0. My manager, he's still with me. His name Mark. And so like, I have $0. I'd be like, I ain't gonna lie, Mark. Let me borrow $400 real quick so I can shoot this video. And I promise when I blow up, I got you. Like I got text messages in my phone and I used to always tell him that. And like, I just have nothing and still want to go shoot a video.
When you grow up surrounded by financial struggle, instability can feel normal. Survival becomes the goal, not ownership, not equity, not longevity. But somewhere along the way, GloRilla shifted from survival thinking to builder thinking. And listen, that's not accidental.
Yeah, it had got to a point I had never stayed with one of my friends. I always had my own shit. And so that was a pride thing because I never had to ask nobody to live with them. And so I started staying with my friend Gloss.
Right.
She was going through shit at the same time. She was pregnant with her second baby at this time. So like, she going through shit too. And so like, it was at the time like I just be out all day because I didn't have nowhere to go. Like I just go to everybody's house because I don't got nowhere to go. And then after I just swallowed my pride and I just started living with my friend Teasy because I just never used to want to ask nobody to stay with them because I always was the one everybody came to the ask for shit.
For GloRilla, this was the beginning of mental evolution. Breaking generational poverty is more than just about making money. It's about changing your mindset about money.
Mm-hmm. I ain't got no place to stay. I done lost my car. I ain't got no money in my account.
Yeah.
What kept you going?
Because my music will still be going viral on like when I post my music, it'll still be doing good. And people
You making money off that?
I wasn't making money.
So what the hell viral got to do with it? They ain't got no money in your pocket?
I was like, it's getting somewhere.
Okay.
They knowing me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm not making no money. Like I'll pay to go get on the show. Like if somebody finna come to the city, like a big artist or an artist that's kind of good, I'll pay to get on the show to perform.
You paying them to get on their shit?
Yeah.
You see, Sustainability is quiet, while fame, on the other hand, is flashy.
And like I watched Cardi whole come up. Like when she first blew up, I went back and watched her on Love and Hip Hop and listened to her old music and shit. And I liked her story. And so it's just, once these people you watch say something good about you, it just make you feel good. Damn, I like you. I look up to you. You know what I'm saying?
GloRilla didn't just drop a song and disappear. No, she leveraged momentum. She aligned herself strategically, and she made business decisions that extended her reach. That's building a brand. It's a lot different from having a viral moment or season.
Sometimes it's hard for women to support other women. Sometimes it's hard for black to support other blacks. Why is that? Why is it like that? Why is it so hard for women to support other women and our community to support our own community?
I just feel like women are naturally competitive.
Yeah, we all competitive.
Women, I think we like more competitive.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be like such a hate thing. I just feel like, women are competitive.
Sustainable growth requires discipline, financial literacy, long-term planning, and very importantly, it requires brand protection. But even though GloRilla spent years building and protecting her brand, her family members, her older siblings to be exact, went on a public campaign to drag her for being successful. All while they stayed back and chose to do the one thing that almost guarantees failure in life. And that's, well, nothing.
Let's say she has $2 million. How much of that does she owe to you and the rest of the family of that $2 million?
She can get all of it like $2,500 a piece.
How much?
$2,500.
25, like, how, that's it? Just 2,500 flat, or is that a?
2,500 flat.
I think she would jump at that.
I think if that's all you want, I think Glo might jump at that.
But imagine her being on for 4 years and not giving us zero.
Protecting your brand sometimes means protecting your peace. Now let's address the elephant in the room. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to explain why GloRilla's siblings are trying to tear down her reputation and her brand. It's jealousy. And it's also a sense of entitlement.
Let's start with just your grievance that you feel that your sister has an obligation to share the wealth.
Hey, yeah, she got an obligation to share the wealth. We sat here, we struggled together. Took baths and bottles of water, rest roaches, all that. Yeah, she obligated. Is them friends obligated? She doing everything for them. So yeah, I feel like I'm obligated.
When one sibling rises from the same environment as the others, it can create comparison. I mean, they lived in the same household, so that means they grew up in the same neighborhood. But that also means that they had the same starting point. So why the different outcomes? And sometimes when people see someone break out, it highlights for them what they didn't pursue in life, the risks that they didn't take, and the sacrifices they didn't make. And that right there can turn into resentment.
You help your sister with to get where she at? Like, did you book her any studio sessions? Did you?
Well, I couldn't afford it. How am I gonna book up with y'all struggling?
Was you in there when she was recording? So how the you think you gonna get some of her money and you wasn't there grinding with her?
Because we was on the floor together.
That don't mean nothing.
GloRilla's siblings are trying to turn it into public pressure, and that can turn into viral moments for them, but there's a key difference. You have one sister building equity and the other one chasing attention. One investing in longevity and the other one is monetizing outrage. So one path will open up to endless possibilities. The other will end up on a dead-end road.
That's not right. You don't sit here and talk about struggles, sit here and struggle with. It's not one sibling. You got 9 other siblings. She get her money just because.
Why does she owe it to you to support you and to support the family beyond what she wants to do? It's her money, right?
Because don't go on no interviews talk about our struggle. You want to do that. That's not right. You don't sit here and talk about struggles, sit here and struggle with. It's not one sibling. You got 9 other siblings. She get her money just because.
And come on, we've seen it time and time again. Viral controversy money that's short-lived. And can we just keep it a buck? Going viral is easy compared to building a sustainable career. But you see, sustainable branding is generational. A wise person once said, if you don't come from money, then money should come from you. And that's not a reference to 2,500 flat or even $1 million. It's simplistic, and with the right determination, planning, and learning, it happened for GloRilla. Her siblings just sat back in the cut, waiting for a handout.
You deserve
I
it.
could never pay you back for all you done. You done bought me cars, you gave me parts, you gave me plenty of money. I done traveled all over the United States with you. You have exceeded my wildest dream. Now, Glory, you know I love all y'all. Good, bad, and ugly.
There's an unspoken expectation in a lot of families. If you make it, you take all of us with you.
We know what's going on. Well, thank you for getting on the rest of my case. I love you.
You have done exceedingly and above anybody can ask thing for me and your mama and your brothers. I'm mad he's done this shit.
But the reality is, 9 adult siblings between the ages of 28 and 38 years old are not children. They're grown adults capable of building their own lanes. Breaking generational poverty doesn't mean that you become the family bank, especially when everyone's starting out with a negative balance. Right now, Scarface is out here doing interviews and food reviews and branding merch of her own. I hope for her sake that she's investing this newfound money, because that kind of viral sensation is usually short-lived. You see, GloRilla had discipline. She had structure, a work ethic, and a mentality of ownership. And sometimes the greatest gift you can give your family isn't money. It's proof that something different is possible. When you're the first in your family to shift the financial trajectory, it can be isolating. It's challenging when you grow up without positive role models in the home. And remember, GloRilla is one of the third oldest of 9 siblings. It may be 10 siblings, because I believe I heard someone say that her dad had another child who's around 8 years old now. But GloRilla had to create her own path. And that required her to disengage from the patterns and people that she became accustomed to. Growth changes relationships. When you do what's best for you, you're going to piss some people off. But that's okay, because boundaries only offend the people who benefited from the old version of you. You know, the one who was there doing all that struggle, giving the little bit that they had just to make you comfortable. Discipline can look like distance, and I get that. But evolution requires some level of discomfort, and breaking the curse of generational poverty, that rarely gets applauded. It usually gets criticized first. Now let's add another layer to this conversation, because I want to focus on sibling rivalry for a minute. Sibling rivalry doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's planted early and is shaped by parental dynamics. You know, favoritism, comparison, inconsistent attention, or even survival-based parenting in a high-stress household, the kind of household that GloRilla and her family grew up in. When resources are limited, not just money, but also time and emotional availability, children can grow up feeling like they're competing for love or validation. Competition can quietly turn into resentment, and that lasts far into adulthood. So when we look at this situation involving GloRilla and her siblings, we have to at least acknowledge the possibility that this isn't just about money. It could be about who was praised and who wasn't, who was labeled the talented one, and who felt overlooked or unsupported. It's likely that GloRilla's success triggered childhood feelings that were never healed. In a struggling household, parents tend to be in survival mode. They may not even realize they're creating comparison-based dynamics between the siblings, but let's face it, They had to be overwhelmed. So now let's fast forward. If unresolved rivalry already existed, GloRilla's success, it doesn't feel like inspiration for her siblings. It's more like she thinks she's better than us.
GloRilla.
And she got on and said to hell with us.
I gotta pay my car note.
But listen, this doesn't justify public dragging. I'm just trying to add context to the current situation. We may be looking at old wounds resurfacing under new lights. At the end of the day, this isn't just about sibling rivalry. It's about what it takes to become the first branch on a new family tree. GloRilla represents mental toughness, and she's undeniably resilient. And whether people celebrate her or criticize her, the fact remains that she turned humble beginnings and struggle into leverage. That's legacy work. It's generational work. GloRilla didn't subscribe to the struggle culture, and that deserves recognition. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is bigger than Memphis. It's bigger than rap, and it's bigger than GloRilla. It's about what happens when someone decides the cycle stops with them. And that's a decision that changes everything. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who may need to hear this message, and leave a comment down below. We can continue the conversation there.